Nowish. Hey, we're live. Welcome, everybody. It's Friday, and that means that we're having a live stream. And we have a special guest. I guess I should say I have a special guest. Audrey's not here. She is still dealing with orders and stuff at Franklin Christoph from their online pin show. I've heard from her on text like twice today. It's been very busy there still. So Anna very kindly stepped up and said, "Hey, I'll be on your live stream." So hey, Anna, what's up?
Not much. How are you?
I mean, pretty good. All this seems to work, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And while I am grateful for the opportunity, I'm sorry that I have to miss Audrey today. I hope she's doing
I know we'll
okay.
have to have you back sometime when Audrey's in the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, everybody in the chat, welcome. And those of you who came in real early, back when I was still testing the setup, uh, who was here? Mac was first. David was third. Becky fourth. Becky fourth. What happened, Becky? Must have been busy today. So welcome everybody, and I hope y'all are having a good Friday. And it's just going to be kind of a chat as usual. I don't really plan interview stuff, although we have a few like questions and that sort of thing from people on Slack who asked me a few questions. But other than that, I think it's just kind of a Friday hangout. So, in case anybody is not familiar with Anna, you want to introduce yourself and tell people what you do?
Hi, I'm Anna. I am the chair at the well-appointed desk. Um,
Nice.
it's a blog about fountain pens. If you guys are not interested in fountain pens, then maybe you need to find a different Friday Live chat because that's what we're going to talk about today. Um, and let's see, what else do I do? I have a shop. We invented the coloring. Let's see, what else did we do? I don't know. Hey, Laura, what else did we do?
I was just typing in a link, and Laura already beat me to the well
Yeah,
planted desk link.
we were joking earlier that she wanted to be faster than she has been in the past with links, so she's on her game. I think she had things loaded, preloaded. And I'm also a cat mom. This is my latest. His name is Ollie. We found him in the backyard in July, and we fed him, and then he refused to leave. Can you blame him?
No, he looks like he's really made himself at home.
He has really made himself at home. Yes, when we brought him in, he weighed 11 pounds. He now weighs 18. So apparently, you get well fed when you live with us.
That's that's good to have a big cat on hand. That's yeah.
Yep. So he is the fourth in our cat menagerie.
Nice. My cats and dog have all abandoned me, and I don't know why. There's not a
They're
single animal.
jealous. I mean, Ollie is a little intimidating. I mean, look at the size of that guy.
He's a pretty good size boy.
Look at you. Look at you. All attitude.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Carol Brosman, who is a friend of the channel here, says, "Hey, how'd you come up with the name The Well Appointed Desk?" And I've actually never asked you that. How did you come up with the name?
Okay, so when I launched Well Pointed Desk, um, Brad had already started The Pen Addict, and Johnny Gamber had already been doing Pencil Revolution. So I'm like, there's a pen and a pencil. I'll just be the desk. So
Yeah.
it's not really genius. At the time, it was very much like, no one's ever going to read this. This is just me throwing things out into the world. And had I really thought about it and how long wellappointeddesk.com is to type in, I would have maybe come up with something different.
No, it's fine. It's easy to spell. Mine is like a portmanteau or whatever, and so I say ink dependence. It's a well appointed desk though. Everything's spelled normally, like humans spell things.
Yeah. For a
All that
while I
stuff.
had trouble because like Instagram wouldn't let me have the name that was that long. They had like a character limit.
Oh,
So I
really?
had to be well APPT desk, but like after a while they finally broke that and you could have more characters. So I went in and changed it to well appointed desk and I probably lost some followers when they couldn't find me anymore and that kind of thing, but those things happen. But at least then, like, so I've slowly migrated most of the accounts because I think Twitter had the same thing. They wouldn't let me have a name that long. So I think I'm still well APPT desk um, on Twitter. But, there's links to all of that on the side of our webpage.
Yeah, in our chat here as well.
Excellent.
Laura is really dropping the links.
Oh, I see Claire saying, "Game on, Laura." I think they're going to compete. We should just rattle off links to see how fast they can get them posted.
That's right. So you got to have the link to the well-appointed desk. You got the big cartel. I mean, you can throw links to my stuff in there too, mods, if you want. Like I'm just saying, like it's oh, you got to do the well-appointed desk Patreon, patreon.com/well-appointed
Yeah,
desk.
that's a new thing for us. We launched that last week. And I basically sat on the unpublished page for like 3 weeks. Like, oh, should I change this? Should I add this? Should I? And finally, like, Bob's like, do you want me to come in there and hit publish? I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm
Well,
like,
it
fine,
seems
I'll
like you
do
had people saying, "Let me give you money," which is great.
Yeah, it's and I've had people over the years on occasion ask, like, is there something we can do to help?
Yeah.
And um, you know, 2020 was a year where, honest to gosh, I needed a lot of help. And I mean, in overall, people really have come through. They buy our ridiculous products. They try stuff out, and I felt like this was a good time. I'd finally figured out what I could offer that would be supplementary to the blog without like making people feel like I'm putting stuff behind a paywall, which I didn't want to do.
Yeah, you've definitely done a better job at that than I have. I was checking out your Patreon earlier, and there it is.
Oh,
Boom. Well-appointed desk. I really like this cover graphic. This is very nice with the dots and the colorings. Very
thank
cool.
you. That matches our background that we use at pen shows. If you've
Yeah.
ever seen our like big thing that we put up behind our table,
I don't think I have.
there's
Uh,
only, you know what? Most of the shows that we actually have a table at, you're usually working. So if the likelihood that you came by our table, it's you were running back to Franklin Christoph or
could be.
something.
Or
So,
maybe you just don't bring them to, like, I think the only shows I've seen where you had your own table were probably like Chicago.
hmm
And I don't remember that stand up, but it totally could have been there.
Yep, it was there.
Yeah.
We've taken it to Chicago, we've taken it to San Francisco, um, and well, Little Rock, the biggest show of them all.
Yeah, I've never been to that one, and I haven't been to St. Louis, which is your local show, right?
Yes, yeah, we did take it, well, theoretically. I mean, at a certain point, like it's almost the same distance to St. Louis as it would be to go to Denver, really. Like,
Really? I
no,
have.
it's actually like a 4 hour drive from Kansas City to St. Louis, but the traffic on I-70 going to St. Louis is so bad. But the traffic on I-70 going to Denver is, well, like who wants to drive across Kansas? Let's be honest.
I have so little understanding about how the middle of the country is. I just
It's flyover country. We're completely comfortable with that.
it's like
It's
really
the
hard to fly to country too. Like it's for whatever reason getting from North Carolina to St. Louis is like prohibitively
you
expensive.
you have to go through Atlanta or Dallas.
Ugh. I should just drive. Next
Yeah.
time they have a pin show, maybe I just drive.
Yeah.
Because it was like
And
$600 or $700 for a flight. It was nuts.
oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and the St. Louis airport is just the word. I hate that airport. Laura can back me up on this. How much do you hate that airport?
Becky says she doesn't like that drive either. Well, technically Lawrence to Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think yeah, that it's just like there's two airports that I absolutely loathe. That's St. Louis and Las Vegas.
Oh man, it's been so long since I've been to the Las Vegas airport like maybe twice, and all I remember is that they have vending machines in the airport. I remember nothing else at that place.
It's just ugh.
Yeah, very few
It's a
airports that
cesspool.
that fits. That tracks. I totally get that.
So, I mean, I guess when we do like as many, like I think one year I did 14 pen shows or something. So I saw a lot of airports and so like I can get really opinionated about airports and hotels now.
It's true. Yeah, you have to fly to most of them, I would imagine. We
Yeah.
can over here on the East Coast. I mean, so many of them are drivable from North Carolina. We're kind of in the middle, and
Mhm.
so it's pretty easy to. I mean, like our longest drive, I think, what was the longest drive we did? I guess the longest one was probably Long Island, and that took.
Oh, I remember you telling the pizza story.
Oh, I don't know. Ugh, Long Island turned me against New York City like forever. Like, it was just such a. It was such a mess. It took like 14 hours or some nonsense to get there too. It made no sense.
Well,
But
I mean, like the Olympic drives that we've done was that I went with Lisa Van Ness and we drove all the way to LA, which was 3 days, I
three
think.
days.
Two and a
Wow.
half. But
Yeah.
I had to drive from Kansas City to Little Rock first, which is like a 5 or 6 hour drive, and then stayed there, loaded up the van, and then we drove to LA, which was 2.5 days ish. Um, and then I went with Lisa just about this time last year to Baltimore. So again, I drove from Kansas City, um, and it was right before I got laid off from my job. So it was very much the like farewell to money.
I I did a trip from Dallas to Vegas one time, and it was 24 hours straight through nonstop on a
It's
bus.
brutal. That's a
It
rough
was,
drive.
I mean, yeah, it was something. I wasn't driving, thank goodness. I would have taken days for that. I'm not doing 24 hours straight through. Who's
No.
got time for that?
We
Beverly
will.
Clary died.
I know. I
Becky.
was just looking at that.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's too bad. Aw. Oh man.
Yeah. Everybody read her books as kids.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I
Hmm.
have no idea. You know, I've never even Googled Beverly Clary. She looks like just the sweetest person. This
She was
is,
104? Okay, well, she had a good run. Dang.
yeah, Beverly Clary. How about that? 104. Well, good job.
Yeah,
Good job, Miss
absolutely.
Clary.
I figure once you pass 100, I'm sure people were probably like, she's getting awfully close.
Yeah.
I'd like to make it to 104.
I I think I'd be fine with that. Yeah. I mean, I assume by then I'll be able to upload my personality to a sweet robot body and ditch this meat
Oh,
suit.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
the meat
Yeah.
tube.
That's
Tired of
right.
wearing it.
And then, absolutely, for sure. Tony Ginta never read any of her books. I am not shocked.
Nope.
Uh,
Oh, you guys are. So Dave asked, when do you think pen shows will be back, and how are the online versions going? Well, what does Audrey say about their online show that they did?
well, that was just one. That was like one vendor sort of thing. But those go pretty well. I think they've got a good formula for them, where they do a bunch of pens released in the morning, and then the same set, like more of them at night for
Hmm.
us anyway.
Yeah, people on
Uh,
different time zones.
yeah, and if people have to work, because I think the first one releases at like 11 a.m., so a lot of people aren't gonna be able to catch that. But
Yeah.
probably not too many people are working at 11 a.m. and 10 p.m. So that's
Wow.
good.
So they do they end up having to put in a really long day in order to have someone in the office at 10 p.m. should the server go down or there be some like technical snafu?
I think what happens, sort of like, uh, as far as I know, I think Scott sort of rides herd on when things are selling out, and Audrey sort of keeps track through all the emails as well as she can to make sure they still have nib
Hmm.
populations and things like that. So if they run out of a bunch of fine SIGs or something, then she can just text Scott and be like, take those down. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's really the two of them that do that the most for the online pen shows,
Hmm.
and then the rest of the crew is like trying to keep things straight on the back end. I mean, I can't imagine uh, how much I would screw up trying to sell like 750 pens or something like that. It's plus nibs and all the other things that people might be throwing into orders, and
Yep.
then I'm
And then
sure
they throw in a
there's
notebook and yeah. Trust
yeah,
me, I screw up orders all the time. I'm always tickled when people are like, "I'm sorry, but your and I'm like, "Your customer service is the same person who packed the order and who made the book and
yeah,
who put it all in a box."
yeah.
Yeah. This is it. This is the whole team. Occasionally Bob comes in and helps stamp the boxes.
Well, you stamp the crap out of those boxes, so
We do. Man, when those vintage writing paper pads launched,
yeah.
we like Bob's like, "Do we really have to stamp all these boxes?" And I'm like, "Yes, they just because they ordered when a bunch of other people ordered does not mean they don't get stamps." So, like, until we're having to fill like 50 orders a day, at which point we're gonna just get boxes printed or something. But right now we're not near that. So most days they fit into a small mail bucket.
I really like those vintage pads, by the way. Those are super
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. We are doing our best to try to locate another paper that would be similar. Because we've had a lot of people ask about it, but genuinely, like Bob went to an auction for a print shop that was closing, and he was sending me pictures of like, here's this thing, and I was like, what's all that paper in the boxes? And he's like, it says it's typewriter paper, and I'm like, buy it all. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, just buy it, just buy all the paper. And he's like, okay. And so it was several reams, many reams of paper, and like obviously we had to cull off, like a lot of times the paper on the like the first 5 or 6 sheets in each box were what's the word I'm looking for, like they'd yellowed
Oh,
because the cardboard box that they were in was not acid free, so it was like, effing up the paper. But yeah, we were able to get, and like I'm sure if you look across all of the the pads that we made, there'll be some that have, here's one, some that have paper that's a little bit more foxed, I think is the correct term, where there's just a little bit of schmutz around the edges because it genuinely was antique vintage paper. I don't know how old it is. But yeah, so we scavenged that. So now, like Bob actually went to an auction, print shop auction today, but I don't think there was any paper in their auction, just presses and stuff. Hi,
you know,
Lucy.
just presses. It's fine.
Yeah, it's just fine.
Yeah, I missed the first go around on that paper because I was I was looking at other things I should add into the order. Because every time I turn around, you're adding new stamps and like whatever else. I think I got the messenger bag pigeon with that one.
Yes, the Deliverator.
Uh huh. I'm so bad at getting things like quickly. So I'm like, oh yeah, what else? I've already got free shipping. What else can I put in here? Or I know they're gonna have to ship a bunch of stuff. I might as well throw some things on there. Ah,
Yeah,
here's the pigeon. Good, I found it on there. I love this stamp. Like,
thank you.
well, really, I like all the stamps you've got. I think, and every time you get a new one, I'm like, well, I guess I have to get that now. So,
Well, I'm glad that I mean, like, that's one of those things. Like, I make these things and then, like, I have them produced, and I'm like, I'm only gonna get a few this time because like, it may just be me that likes this.
what counts as a few like of these custom stamps? Because are these? So tell me about how that goes, if you don't mind. Like, you
Sure.
do the artwork and then send them to a?
I found okay, so a lot of people have probably already heard about this, but I found a rubber stamp manufacturer, because we had looked into like, do we buy a laser and do all of this ourselves? And I was like, we started working it through and was just like, I would end up spending more time trying to learn how to make them in a way that was guaranteed to be good quality, rather than actually designing cool stuff, filling orders, posting on the blog. I'm like, I don't have, so I'm like, I got to find somebody who can do this at a reasonable price. And I found a shop. They happen to only be in Iowa, so they're just one state up from me. So they're fairly close. And then last October, they had a devastating fire that completely leveled their building. And I like, as if 2020 wasn't a cruddy enough year for most people, like to completely lose your livelihood. And it was, like mid to late October, so basically leading right into like Christmas holiday season. So they were closed all the way until, I want to say, February, late January, early February. So I had to try to find someone else to make stamps for me. And I contacted a bunch of other companies, and they were either trying to charge me retail prices. And I'm like, even at wholesale through this company, I'm often ordering hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of stamps at a time. So I'm like, I'm serious. I'm a wholesale client. You're not going to be making me 2 stamps at a time. I promise. And like, I can show you my invoices. Like every 2 weeks, I'm ordering more stamps.
I have
Um,
references.
I have references. And In the end, the only person who was willing to bail me out was Margaret at Paper Pastries out in California. Because I knew she had a laser and she made custom stamps for her customers. And I was like, Ken, would you? I know this has been a rough year. Maybe we can help each other out. So as a result, her prices were not quite as good as the company that I use in Iowa. So some of my stamp prices had to go up a little bit just to make up for the difference. So, but yeah, so I design everything in on the computer, and then I just send the artwork to them and have them make the stamps for me. And then when they come back, we bag them and tag them and do all that kind of stuff. So,
Very
yeah.
cool. I've always been really impressed with the quality of those stamps. Like they are
Thanks.
so crisp. I'm I'm maybe a little picky about stamps. My mom was a huge stamper when I was growing up, and I
Yeah.
never really had that many. I'd have one or two stamps, like just.
Sure.
And now I have like a box of them over here off to the side.
Yeah. So, just my tip for anybody for storing these stamps, like this is why we kind of went to just the flat stamps, is if you have any of these kinds of boxes that like your fancy paper came in, or stationery, or to be honest, Bear and Fig notebook boxes, you use the lids and they work awesome. So this is how we keep ours. And mine are so, I don't have very good fountain pen hygiene, but my rubber stamp hygiene is even worse because I use them every day. But this is why we ended up starting to carry stamp cleaner
Uh huh.
because I like my stamps were so nasty. Bob gets so upset with me because I don't know if you guys can see. Oh wait, I have it. I have a down camera. I'm just going to use it. Oh,
Oh.
look at that. Let's see. Where's
Nope,
my?
that's my face.
That's your face. How about that?
How'd you? There it is.
There it is.
So
So
much better.
so much better than me holding stuff up. But yeah, so like look at how gross all my these are my like nib stamps that I use all the time. They're just yuck. So and since the rubber stamp company like after their fire, their laser burns the tops of the stamps way better than they used to. So like see how you can kind of not see any of the artwork on these and
Oh,
how
interesting.
good these look. Yeah. So I keep every time I order, I'd like send them another message that I'm like, you burn so much better on the wood. It looks great.
Yeah, I'll turn on my little desk camera too. Let's see. So this is a thing that I use for cleaning stamps. It's like this little kind of, it's kind of fuzzy. You can see that like that.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know. It's actually, I mean, it's a stamp cleaning pad, and this one is ancient. So my
Oh
mom
yeah.
had this when I was growing up, and I was like, I gotta get one of those, and she's like, I have a few. I'll just send you one. And so this is, I mean, it's ancient. Like the plastic has started to yellow and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
I
is great. So I'll take like I turn that on. So now you can, oh, too many things. So I like take this and rub it on the stamp or whatever, and then just sort of scrub it on this a little bit, and it comes clean super quickly.
That's
So I
awesome.
love this thing is really great.
That's cool. I will look and see if the company that we order like the stamp cleaner and the stamp pads from if they sell anything like that. We can
Yeah,
add it to our
it's a
inventory.
very cool product, and then you just kind of like hose it off in the sink. And some of the
Cool.
ink obviously stays. Some of it's better at sticking on here than others, but like whatever, it's for cleaning things. I don't care what it
Yep,
looks like.
exactly.
Uh,
So apparently a lot of people want Michead stamps.
oh no. Did somebody say that in the chat? I haven't even been keeping track. Oh, they did.
Yep.
Told you a mic
Make
face.
that happen.
Do what?
I can make that happen.
Oh man, now that sounds like a threat.
It does.
Um, yeah, so yeah. I also really like these little like rubber stamps that you put on an
Hmm.
acrylic block.
Yeah, I've looked into doing those, but I do realize that they take a bit of like learning process, like
Yeah.
for people to figure out how to use them, which is why I haven't added them because then I also have to carry those like acrylic blocks and
Yeah, they're a little bit of a pain in the butt. Like the cool thing about them is that you can see through the block. What do I do with my block?
Mhm.
Here it is. I can't find my block because it's transparent. But you can see through the block, so you can sort of line them up, and often the blocks come with a grid. So if you're putting together like a, I don't know, like a calendar grid or something, you can just do this over and over again, which is like that's the one way in which it's more convenient than a rubber stamp on a
yeah.
block because you can more easily see where you're going. But otherwise, I really like the woodblock stamps. I think are better, just in general. But I kind of wonder what my letter carrier thinks about my letters that go out with all the like
I
stamps
don't
and
know. I keep meaning to
washi
ask.
tape.
Yeah, I keep meaning to ask my postie lady who comes over, because she'll often like come over just as I'm finishing packing up boxes. And so we've got this whole routine that we do now where um, she'll go to the next house and then I'll take all my boxes and set them on top of the truck so that we keep our social distance
Yeah.
going. And then we just yell at each other across the yard. Hey, how you doing? So
Yeah. So I keep mine in a lock and lock. These,
nice.
or at least this is one of the things I keep them in. Also, just strewn in drawers, and there's a sack in the other room that's just a Ziploc bag. I'm very organized.
I totally.
Totally.
So that's, that kind of organization is sort of how we all roll.
I mean, when somebody says, I have a Ziploc bag full of that you are on top of the organization. Also, my
At
washi
least they're
tape.
all in one bag.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're in
Yeah,
one bag.
sure.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So, oh man, love the stamps. Your shop is a virtual den of temptation. That's true. She does have a mic face mouse pad. No, she doesn't. That was some weird Zoom artifact. Zoom is. I'm zooming with Ana right now. She's not actually here. I know it's a shock, but for whatever reason, it was a little weird setting up. But we got it done. As a target marketer, she wants mic face on things. Yeah, some people were saying they want to have like a mic face stamp. I don't know. That sounds like a very silly thing to have, but that's
Could
fine.
be fun. Could be fun.
I don't know.
Hey, I made head pins out of Brad and Mike. Can make a stamp out of you.
That's true. The pins are really fun.
Thank you.
Those are fun pins. Also, I mean, the Ana pin is clearly the best of those, right? What about the Closet of Doom? Get out of here, Greg. We're not going to open up the Closet of Doom.
You have a Closet of Doom?
So Brad and I had a Closet of Doom off when I had him on. His Closet of Doom is like airy and spacious, and there's hardly any doom in there. I didn't open mine live on the air, and I won't today either. Don't get any ideas, chat. But I showed him. I sent him a picture, and just his reaction on stream was enough. It's this closet behind me, which is just 100% Doom. It's floor to ceiling Doom. Show the mic face pillowcase. Oh my god, have you? No way did you see this. Let me see if I can get it out. Our friend Inky Converters, Angela, had this thing made. Well, I gotta move a light. Okay, we're good. Oh wait, I put it in my linen closet because it's a pillowcase. Okay, I'll get it.
Well, while Mike's away, we can talk about him. What do you all want to talk about? So, nothing. It's just me talking to myself and a cat bed, dog bed. At my house, that would be a cat bed. And only one cat would ever sleep in it at a time. Yes, I can see the chat.
Oh yeah, she can see it. So this showed up in my mailbox. The thing is, it's way bigger than she thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know, 70 centimeters, whatever. That seems fine. It's massive. So.
Well, 10 centimeters is 4 inches.
Yeah. So this
that is fantastic.
Turned out to be a pretty solid size.
I think that would make a lovely cat or dog bed. Just put some stuffing in there and let them sit on it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might just go to Target and just get a couple of like bed pillows to stuff in it, because otherwise, it'll take an amazing volume of just straight up batting or something. I don't know. Shop cat rubber stamps, please, says Beth. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, we're making plans for.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, we're making plans for some cat stamps.
We had there were questions in the Slack about when you were going to have shop cat related items. People do like a cat item. That's, Mr. Nose's stickers sell very well usually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Those are a fun thing. That's one big noggin. You're right, Feta. It's way bigger than life size. Way too big.
Yeah. You just proved it by holding it next to your head.
Yeah, so much bigger. In real life, I'm much smaller than that. Our friend David keeps trying to bug me to get mic face masks. And I haven't decided whether that's a mask with my face on it or a mask that's like the mask area of my face, but just in a mask.
It would be the one and only time I had a beard.
I think it would be horrifying more than like, well, look, people would keep their social distance. I think if you wore that,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Because I
yeah.
would
I might have
then,
missed the time crunch on that. People are probably not going to have to wear masks as much after the next few months. But
oh, somebody asked about Team Safari and Team All Star.
oh yeah, can't remember if you're on. You're Team All Star, right?
I am Team All Star.
All Star always.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think, I mean, Brad was saying on his one of his live streams that like Team Safari kind of has it this year, and I think so.
Mixed opinions. I think that the fact that they did the original colors again is very cool, except that totally ruins the secondary market for people who had the originals. And I really wish if they were going to revamp those, they would have put them in the cool little Foot Locker trunk boxes that they were in originally.
You think that's gonna do bad things to the secondary market on the original ones?
I think they're so rare at this point that's not that big a deal, but
I think the
yeah.
people that were willing to spend the money on those original ones, because I mean, those go for like what, $200 a pop or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
I mean, I think that the market of those is small enough that there aren't that many people, and nobody's gonna
Yeah,
be fooled.
no.
Um,
I'd be curious to actually see one of the new ones next to one of the old ones, if there is any distinct elements that would make it so that as a reseller, like if you were the guys at the pen show and something saw one of these pens in a tray, you
right.
would know, oh, that one is actually an original, not the repro.
You know, I remember there being a difference, but I can't remember what it was. And I'm sure I saw a picture of one of the original, like terracotta ones that had like West Germany or something stamped in the bottom of the like the base of the pen.
Oh yeah. Okay, that could be it.
But I think there was something else, and I can't remember what it was. Some differences, yeah. So Greg says he thinks there were some differences too, and I think there were, but I can't remember what they were. And I don't have any of the originals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think at one point Laura had one of the originals. Her father had bought it when it came out and then just saved it and
nice.
didn't really um didn't really do anything with it. He tended to be a fancier pen, but when it came out it was so inexpensive. He was like, "Oh, okay, I'll order it." And so I think she sold it, but I don't think at the time she was at a point in her pen fountain pen knowledge to look at it and really be like, these are the things that are distinctly different than a modern um,
Yeah,
Safari.
yeah. Somebody says. Somebody saw a comparison, and Sam said they saw a comparison on Reddit a while ago, and there are definitely some differences. So that's good.
Cool.
Yeah, I think you'll be able to tell the two
Yeah, I
apart
would
if you
think
know what to
so.
look for.
Um, Ruth is asking about the pigeon stamp and is it a nod to the now defunct Letter Writers Alliance? And yes, it is. Um, Somebody on the in Slack had asked about pen cases, and so I actually brought all of my pen cases, so
Uh
they're all
oh.
sitting here.
Yeah, there was a question about what kind of pin cases you use to carry when you have like mixed, I don't know, mixed tools. I don't know what the right way
Yeah.
to say it is. When you're carrying like, you know, pens and say a sharpened black wing with you and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I thought I had because I had an original one of the Letter Writers Alliance pencil cases, which has always been one of my favorites because they actually had fabric printed for the inside, but it doesn't seem to be in this bucket, which is kind of hard to imagine because there are a lot of pen cases in here. Shameful, I know. But my favorite case is this guy. Let me get this in the shot. This is from Jet Pens, and if you don't care if your pens touch, um, it opens up so that it's like this flat case. I'm gonna switch my camera here real quick. There we go. So it opens flat, and it will hold like a full length pencil in
Uh,
here.
does it stay open when the with the top up like that?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah. And so there's like a little pocket right here to keep things like, a nib wipe. Like if you have, like I have some little doodads in here and there's a couple of ink cartridges and that kind of thing. And, because I got to represent the Sub Poppy from the World War One Museum,
Cool.
which is here in town. But yeah, so this is the case that I keep like my drawing tools and sort of lower end pens that I don't really care if they touch, like the much abused platinum carbon desk pen with the end whacked off. But occasionally stuff falls out of the little top compartment, so I have like clips and stuff in there. But this one's a Jet Pens case. It's not very expensive, maybe $15 or something. They came in a bunch of different colors, and this is like a hard edge, like a metal edge, so it stays shut, even if this like magnetic lock doesn't quite magnetize.
Yeah, so it doesn't get mushed too, I imagine.
Yeah, it stays nice and firm. After 10 years, I've tried a lot of different cases. This seems to be my favorite one. One, because you can pop that lid open and just leave it sit. But if you have a lot of pen problem, this is a Kipling 100 pen case, which has these little slots to put. These are only big enough for pencils. So if you have like a lot of colored pencils or gel pens, like the real thin gel pens, and then there's a big cubby underneath. So like these can all not touch if you don't want them to. And then you have a big spot to just drop like markers or a paint set or something like that in here. This was the one I used to take back and forth to work when I was at Hallmark, because I could keep like more art supplies-y kind of stuff. But yeah.
Classy it looks like a vintage cosmetics case. Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah.
Oh, the 100 pen case?
No, I think the other one,
yeah, it does kind of. I hadn't thought about that. This is one of the Superior Labor cases, which kind of doubles as like a mini wallet because it'll hold 3 pens on this side. And then it has like slots for cards, money. You could probably fit like a small, like field note size notebook in here.
Yeah.
And then there's a slot on the outside that's usually, I think it's big enough to hold a phone. I think that's what I've used it for. So yeah, phone will fit in there. So this is a case that I tend to carry like when I'm at pen shows and I just want a couple of pens with me. But yeah, so other cases that are big enough to hold like pencils as well is I tend to just go to sort of the dump bag size. If you guys want to see more, I can just keep pulling them out.
Yeah, I was looking through my stuff to see what I have that can hold pencils, and the answer is not a lot. I thought this one was going to be long enough for pencils, but I always forget how long a pencil is, especially if it's like a newish one.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just so.
Yeah, and I run into a lot of that because I always have like come on camera, there we go. Like the water brush pens and stuff would tend to be longer.
Actually, let me see if this one will hold it. Let's see.
Well, Christine, at least I'm consistent, right? I still pick the clam case as my favorite.
So I have this one that Audrey got. I think she probably got it from Jet Pens, although I'm not 100% sure. And it unzip the top, and you kind of put it on the counter, and it pops up all your stuff.
Oh, yeah. I've seen those. I think they're really cute. I've had a couple like that, but more like the first one that you showed.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not even close. It's way too small for pencils. And then I also use one of these, which is the Coleman.
Yeah, but I've always meant to buy one of those. This is another one that's just sort of an open case. That is also Jet Pens, and you can flip this little top section over so you can kind of see in, and then there's like little pockets on the side for various things, but mostly it's a dump case, but like a fully sharpened pencil will fit in there.
Yeah, you just gotta get those little point protector things.
Yes.
Those of you who are walking around with sharpened pencils, I'm sure that you sent me these.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Oh, I think I did, because you were.
Because I got some of these. I got this like fistful of Blackwings at the San Francisco Pin Show. I don't know, year before last, like the last time we had one. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just take it to school. I've got an electric pencil sharpener, and you were like, no, don't do that. And so you sent me like 2 or 3 pencil sharpeners and a bunch of these little like point protectors and things of that nature, which are these things. This is kind of ingenious. Like that's a great idea.
Yeah, those are really, I like the metal ones that kind of expand a little bit, because if they do get too big for something, you can just kind of press them back together with your fingers. So if you put like a large Caran d'Ache pencil, you can kind of to get them to fit on a smaller one.
Shape it should be.
Yeah.
Plus, it just kind of looks sleek. It's a good
Yeah,
look.
yeah, it does. It looks good. I like them. Somebody just asked a question. Oh, what do I put brushes in? Like paintbrushes? I use mostly the Travels paintbrushes, which can like you pull them apart and stick it back together. I'm gonna bend over and find one.
Hmm. Yeah, Greg Cochran says use a rickshaw plush pencil pouch, and I was thinking that reminded me. I have one of those plush pencil pouches, uh, and I really like this thing, but I never put pencils in it. I always because this is my sort of this holds all my teachery stuff, so like laser pointers and dongles and Advil for when I can't take the pain of my brain anymore.
Hmm.
But a pencil like a sharpened Blackwing is kind of not
Yeah,
going to fit in here
just
really.
just barely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are like I have these kind of travel brushes where it's like the cap
Whoa.
and then you just stick them back in like that. Occasionally I'll catch the bristles and then I have to spend a lot of time doing the
Straightening every bristle.
hair conditioner I've heard works really well to fix that.
Where'd you get the pencil point protector? Well, I got it from Ana, so that's
Probably jet pens. They have quite a few, if not CW pencils.
is it the plush pen gadget pouch? It might be a gadget pouch. I don't actually know. I didn't buy this. I got some other stuff in this pattern from Market Rickshaw, and he just like threw a couple of other things in the same tweed. He's like, you need more tweed stuff, and so yeah, I don't really know which one this was. Maybe this is a gadget pouch. It's great for gadgets, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. I'm looking in here. Like a girlfriend made me this one specifically so that it would be long enough to hold
Oh
full
yeah,
size pencils. And it's like Alice in Wonderland print fabric or something. The Duchess's house, Rabbit Hole, the beach.
the
She
pencil
had like
caps are
scraps. The little
Kutsua
leaf.
Stod aluminum pencil caps.
Yeah.
There you go. I know one of the mods is going to hit that and be and make it a link. We'll just see which one hits it first.
Yeah.
Go mods, go!
Go. We're waiting. So, so what else? Have you bought anything lately?
I mean, the last thing I bought was I got one of Brad's new spoke pens.
Oh, I have
Actually, I don't
not
remember if I
gotten one
had
of those.
this last week or not.
Do you
This is
like
the.
it?
I do like it.
So
Yeah.
that's one of the shorty ones, right?
This is the icon, which only comes in one size.
Uh-huh.
It is a little bit on the short side, I think,
Can you
and it
post it?
doesn't post, which
Okay.
is. But I think it's about the same length as like unposted. I want to say it's about the same as a. It's actually a little longer than a Platinum 3776.
Oh, yeah.
So it's totally usable unposted for me. I do kind of wish, and I was telling him about this, earlier this week. I'm like, yeah, I kind of wish the grip was fatter. This is like a millimeter and a half smaller than I'd like. A little more
Hmm.
diameter on there.
Yeah.
But maybe like Ian Schoen does, he's gonna do different grips in the
Hmm.
future.
Yeah, that's possible. So is the cap twist cap or magnetic?
Twist.
Okay, because this is the problem that I have with the magnet caps. Does anyone see anything wrong with this?
So, I have mine right next to one of these TI2 big design ones, which is also a magnet cap, and they stick together. And then
And then you have paper clips stuck.
how much of a chain can I make? Oh, uh,
Too heavy?
not quite gonna do it. But yeah, that's a problem with magnet pens. You have
Yeah.
to sequester them, otherwise you end up picking up a bunch of pens at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I busted out my spoke pen to use for school stuff. I think this is a good pen. I like the magnet. The magnet cap is better than I thought it was gonna be.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think
Oh
screw
yeah.
cap is real good for this.
Yeah. I mean any of my like day to day, like when I'm teaching and that kind of thing, if it's not like a friction fit cap, like, my classic Karen Dosh snappy cap. Yes. Nice. Good look.
Uh huh. Yeah. I had people asking if I was ever going to review this thing, so I was like, yeah, sure. So I inked it up and reviewed it. That's how I remember to review most things. Is people bug me enough about it. That's how I'll do it.
Yeah.
How do you? How does that work for you, fellow blogger? Do you
Um,
have a schedule and like you go down the tick list? You're like, this is coming up. Now you have people blogging with you as well, but
I do. And so, Laura's pretty good about like she'll be like, "Oh, I have two or three things to review. I'm going to do this, this, and this." Because we kind of talk on a regular basis, because we live in the same town.
yeah.
Um, I found that for Jessie, her favorite thing is for me to just type in our, like, we have a calendar, and so I just put her like, this is what you're, because she'll say something like, "Oh, I just got this thing," and I'm like, "I'm putting it in for next Thursday," and she's like, "Okay." And Jacqueline recently switched jobs and has been super busy. So we've been like, pressure's off for Jacqueline. Like, you tell me when you have time. Um, and Tina is just really good. Like, she'll either tell me, "I don't have anything to review. What do you want me to review?" And then a week later, I have a review in my inbox. Or otherwise, she just sends me a review every 2 weeks. So Jacqueline and Tina switch off on Fridays. So
Oh,
that's
that's
how
cool.
this, yeah. So if anyone's curious, Monday is me, usually. This week I was a little late. Tuesday is Laura. Wednesday is Link Love. And whenever I have to backfill a review that I skipped, Thursday is Jesse. And then Friday is either Tina or Jacqueline. Or lately it's been either me or Tina. So
That's quite the schedule.
it is kind of crazy, but it's really, I mean, it has really helped because for a long time it was just me. And trying to do a post every day for 5 straight days was just,
It's
you know,
grueling.
it's well, and it was like I couldn't be as involved as I wanted to be. So like if you look back a couple of years, the reviews were not as thorough as they are now. So I have the opportunity to spend a little bit more time making the reviews more complete. Though sometimes I kick myself for like, okay, we're going to do all the weights and the lengths and then comparing them to another pen. And it's the same thing that you do on your video, but I just have to like lay them out into nice little photos and then edit the photos and then post the photos instead of like
Yeah,
editing a whole video.
I've been trying to keep it to like two video reviews a week. Usually I'll do like a pen and an ink
Mhm.
ish. Maybe I throw a bag in there. Sometimes I'll do paper. Like I don't really have a set schedule, but I try to do Tuesday and Thursday for videos, and then I have live streams on Fridays, and then Tuesday and Thursday. Wait, no. Monday and Wednesday I upload videos. Tuesday and Thursday I do Twitch, and then Friday I do live stuff.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that you'd added Twitch too.
Yeah, I've been doing Twitch,
Crazy.
so but I just like hang
Crazy.
out and play video games there. I'm not
Oh,
doing pen
yeah.
stuff necessarily.
Yeah.
It's kind of vaguely after when Brad stops doing his Twitch. So he does pen stuff, and I'll just like play video games and chat with people. But
That's
it's a fun
cool.
time.
Awesome.
But I mean, even that's tough. I mean, when I was doing the what was it, the Inkvent stuff in December, the last couple of years,
Yeah.
that is, it's tough to do something like that every day.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
lot of
ink.
work.
We've done Inkmas for several years, and I was like looking back this past year and realized that like I missed a couple years, and I think it just things got so crazy that I just skipped. But we try to do Inkmas, which is just again sort of like Inkvent, just counting down to Christmas. Um, and initially the idea was that like I could front load ink reviews because
Hmm.
it could be any ink that we hadn't reviewed all year because or in ever, like we hit the point where you're like, I've never reviewed Lamy Blue, like let's do that. But
Just
I have, yeah. So and it got to the point where it was just like um that was my chance to like just churn out ink reviews because at the time that we started doing Ink Mist, there weren't a lot of people who like specialized in ink reviews. Now I feel like I don't know that I'm adding anything to the conversation because we do our, occasional, pretty much there's like a weekly ink review. Um, but you have people like Fountain Pen Pharmacist and Mountain of Ink that just specialize in ink sharks and like so there's other people who kind of have just made that their focus and so I sometimes feel like they do it better than I do, which is why I let Jesse do most of the ink reviews now.
I'm absolutely with you. I mean, if people go to inkdependence.com, they're like, you haven't posted anything since January. And that's 100% true. Partly it's that I'm totally out of space on Google and they're like, we can't upload anything.
Oh, geez.
I know. Blogger has just really, they did an update where whenever I'll put in a bunch of images. So I'll have, I don't know, 10 or 12 images per post or something like that. And it just puts them on the screen in the post in a random order. And so it's kind of really dampened my joy of doing the
Yeah.
static blog. Plus, like, Kelly at Mountain of Ink crushes it with those reviews, and she's so
Yeah.
prolific that I'm like,
Hmm.
look, if you're looking for that ink and I don't have it, go see Kelly. If I have
Yeah.
it, go see Kelly anyway. So
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot more video than other stuff recently.
Oh, somebody was commenting on the cats. Yeah. If you hadn't seen Ollie before, there's our big. Oh, I gotta really lean over because he's huge. But yeah, so that's Ollie. He's our newest addition, and Lucy keeps walking in and out of the room trying to figure out who I'm talking to. So mostly you're getting
I had
a
one
rear
come in
view.
here. Clipsy has decided that she doesn't really like it when I talk to people. Uh,
Oh.
my aunt called and was talking to Audrey and I on the we were on speakerphone, and Clipsy was nuts. Like, she would come up and she'd just like meow in our faces. She'd come up and just bite us. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And so we took her to the vet because like something is clearly wrong with this cat. Of course, it was a Sunday, so cool, emergency vet style. We're like, "Look, we don't know what's wrong with our cat, but she's being real weird." Nothing. She's fine, perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with her at all. Just she hates it when she just came in here a little while ago and she just like went meh at me. She doesn't want to be pet. She doesn't want to get on the desk. She's like, hey, shush, or feed me, but also shush.
Yeah.
So
Lucy does that when Bob talks on the phone, and I think because Bob gets super animated and super excited, um, that it
what?
sounds aggressive. I know my husband is constantly excited. Um, but so Lucy will like kind of freak out because she thinks he's yelling, or so like she will bite his leg to get him to stop. So he'll have to talk on the phone and like either walk to the basement or walk out on the patio or something to get away from her. I'm like, because he's asked me before, he's like, does that happen to you? And I'm like, no, but I sit here and talk basically to my computer screen for 10 hours a week when I teach my classes. I don't know if you guys know this, but art classes are 5 hours long. Normally they're like studio classes um, that I teach. And if we were in person, I'd be walking around looking at the work that people are doing. But on Zoom, it's, I have to be basically a human clown to entertain for 5 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah. So Anna has been teaching. You've been teaching for 2 semesters now, right? Online
Mm-hmm.
art classes. How's
Yeah.
that going? Do you like it? Is it a thing you are
I
glad you've done for a couple of semesters? And
I do, and I really like my students are amazing. It's a community college, so you get that sort of cross section of people who are looking for second careers, people who are just starting college and are not entirely sure if this is what they want to do, so they're taking a class at a community college just to, kind of get their feet wet. And then like one of my students this semester has her bachelor's in fine arts and wanted to go back for a design degree, so she's going through the community college program so that she doesn't have to go back and get another 4-year degree or get a master's or whatever. So
right.
it's cool to just have such a variety of students.
Yeah, I've been teaching online for, I don't even know. It's been a very long time, at least a decade, probably more. But I don't really
Wow.
do like I'm not doing a 5 hour stint, live classes. We do mostly asynchronous stuff. So there's a
So
lot of
you record ahead of time.
yeah, yeah. I do. Yeah, I've recorded a bunch of stuff ahead of time, and then every week or two I'll have like very current things about assignments they're turning in, like, hey, let's take a look at what your peers are doing, and we'll have
Mhm.
that kind of thing. But I don't have the thing where I'm staring at 50 Zoom boxes or something. That sounds not super fun, but it's
Most of
probably
the
better
time
than
they have their
nothing.
cameras turned off, so I don't
Uh-huh.
even know if they're in the room. And at 5 hours, like I appreciate that you will at some point in 5 hours have to get up and get a drink,
Yeah.
use the bathroom,
Yeah.
open the front door for the Amazon delivery. Like I get it. But yeah, sometimes it's just like, come on, people. If you gotta see this, I want to see that.
Yeah. I have a there's another philosopher that I know who said that he had really good success just telling his students about what the experience was of being a person looking at a bunch of black boxes for hours a day. He's like,
Yeah.
here's what this is like as a professor. And so as a result, he said like 2/3 of them start turning their cameras on now, which
Yeah.
is, that makes sense to me. I mean, once people are like, look, I don't want to have you watch me eat cereal or something while you're teaching, but in reality, I kind of want to see what a face is like. Like, what's going on in your face when I'm saying things, you know?
Yeah. Well, and just making sure that they're like, particularly if I'm like giving instruction, like just having people be engaged and like that they appear to be marginally engaged
Yeah.
and not doing this where they're playing on their phone.
They've got their switch out just below the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. But, it's like it's also art students, so at a certain point like I get that like a large part of the session is like having them work for a half an hour or 45 minutes and then kind of we'll get together and talk and make sure that they're, and they can show me what they're working on, that kind of thing. So I get like at that point you can turn on your camera off. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here and talk. And I've done that before. I'm like, have you ever seen where it's like, at the cigar factories in Cuba where the guy sits up front and reads the paper? I could just do that for you guys. I can just sit here and like read stuff to you and keep you entertained. It's just consider me your personal podcast.
Talk about the crossword puzzle you're currently doing while they're arting.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Yeah, 5 hours is such a marathon.
It is. Last semester, my class was twice a week. I taught one class twice a week, and it was 3 hours each session. This semester, I have 2 classes, and each one is 5 hours. They only meet once a week. Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Just got a text from Audrey saying she's on her way home, finally.
Aw. In time for pizza.
Well, yeah, hopefully. She's a good hour away, though, so she's not going to make it to the stream today. A fresh cat has appeared. Yeah,
that's Lucy. She's running around. I think she's chasing her tail.
Looked like it.
Lucy. Oh, she found one of her sparkly balls.
Nice. I had a couple of other things that I wrote down that I thought were pretty interesting questions from the Slack, and one of them was about you make a lot of paper products, and you know a guy who makes a lot of paper products. And the question was about like why it is there are so many notebooks and so few notepads of like fountain pen friendly stuff.
Yeah, I saw that comment too, and I think I had the same like moment of confusion because he kind of got in depth, and I was like, wait. So thank you for clarifying that a little bit.
He's a fellow philosophy professor, and he was rocking some nested parentheses of other comments. But I think the question is like, hey, what's up with there not being as many pads? Because I love pads. I'm a notepad guy, so I get it.
Yeah, and here in our house, we use a lot of notepads and just like individual sheets because a lot of what we're writing down is very ephemeral. It's like that sort of idea starting kind of thing. Yeah. So, or like just quick notes of like, I need to do this, I need to do that. But he was asking, I think specifically about like A4 size as well, like sort of that 8.5 by 11 or
bigger
A4
stuff. And specifically, he wanted to know about like Tomoe River stuff being that big and not being in pads. But
yeah. And I was under the impression that there was someone who was making Tomoe River A4 pads, but with the changeover in the paper quality, I don't know if they're still available or if they're, they have to wait for between Tomoe River changing the manufacturing of the paper and the pandemic, it's hard to tell if like things got slowed down for one or the other or both.
Right.
Or if those notebooks, those A4 notepads are just on a boat stuck in the Suez. Could be. But thinking about like A4 size paper and like options, I pulled out a bunch of like, these are like art pads, and I'm going to down camera again because holding them up, I can't seem to aim worth it. But these are like art paper, but has a lot of the same qualities that a lot of people like out of Tomoe River and stuff like that. So if you are okay with a white sheet that doesn't have any lines, and there's a place online where you can get guide sheets to tuck under here, just saying.
Yeah, there's a place you can go to get those. What place would that be?
wellpointeddesk.com. Click on the button across the top that says guides. Yeah. But so a lot of like art paper that are called marker paper works really well with fountain pens. Will show sheen. We'll do a lot of that kind of stuff. So, see if there's any ink in this. No! Why are my pens all dry? Isn't that how it always goes?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Gonna do fancy demo. Pens are dead. There is ink in here. It's just been standing on its end. So.
Yeah, my favorite things for that size of paper are... Actually, let me grab one of these. I forgot about these.
So, oh, I think this is the ink that's in this pen is the last special edition from Papier Plume. So this was the Desire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's looking a bit red on camera, but... So there's not a lot of sheen in this ink, but you get good line variation. And like Tomoe River, it doesn't bleed through, but you will get that show through kind of thing.
Oh, yeah,
so if you wanted...
thin. What is that the... Because the one underneath it says it's pure rag. What's that one that you're writing
Yeah,
on?
this one is too. So this is 100% rag translucent marker paper.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So these are just, I happen to have 4 different brands. So it's ones, these are Bienfang from various times. I guess they got bought by Speedball. So this was before they got bought by Speedball. This is after, but it's the same one. It's called Graphics 360. Borden and Riley. These are 2 Borden and Riley ones. I think one of these is discontinued, and I can never remember if it's... I think it's this one, the 100% or the 100-pound S smooth cotton comp, which I freaking love. And like we got to where like my friends and I were like hoarding this stuff. But this is pretty similar, this layout visual bond. But other companies, other brands make marker paper. You just kind of have to check them out. Do I have any reviews about these on the blog? No, I haven't actually done any reviews on marker paper, but I certainly can.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. When I think of like rag paper and marker paper, I usually think of something that's like a bit rougher. I haven't ever used the translucent stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fairly smooth because mostly it's used for doing like marker renderings and stuff. Yeah. But then like this is another one. This is the Life typewriter paper.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
So I got this one from Van Ness. But it's pretty translucent, so it's pretty easy to put a guide sheet underneath it, and has a similar... It's much smoother than the paper that we used in our vintage books. But yeah, I got this for $10 from Van Ness. I don't know if she still has it in stock, but I'm sure if we berate them, they'll start stocking it again if they can get a hold of it. But yeah, and those are like, this is an A4 size one, and then the marker paper ones are 9 by 12, but I think you can get them in 8.5 by 11 as well.
Nice. So. Render paper is good. No bleeding or anything. That's pretty sweet.
I have mixed feelings about the render paper, because it's almost like it's 2 sheets of paper that have been laminated together with some kind of something in between. Because if you look at the sheets on the side, there's like a little, you can see like a little black line. And so far I haven't found it in anything other than like those perfect bound books.
Yeah.
Where they don't necessarily always open flat, which I find irritating, especially if you're going to use them for drawing.
Huh.
But
yeah, I've never
it's
seen
one of
this
those
paper before. It's really
the render paper, it's worth trying because everybody loves different paper. Like, I'm not going to yuck somebody else's yum.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah, when I want big fountain pen friendly stuff, I use... so I've got this like MD cotton stuff.
Oh, yeah. I love MD cotton.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they did full sheets like that.
I guess this is just regular old MD. The smaller pad I have is the cotton, I think. Yeah, so I use this one with my little bullet-pointed desk guide underneath there. This is the cotton one. But they're glue-bound on 2 sides, which I think is really cool. It's so good for not letting it curl up while you're writing, not shifting around.
They do that with watercolor pads, as watercolor pads are usually like glue-bound on 3.5 sides. There's just like a little slit, and then you take a paper knife and or a envelope letter opener and slide it around so that when you're watercoloring, it's basically like the paper is totally flat and it can't buckle and as we call it, taco.
That's a severe buckle right there, the taco.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then this is the bigger one. This is the regular MD stuff, which is like a little bit like a pistachio green cast to it, I think.
That has that weird corner on it.
Yeah, all the Medora
I,
stuff has the weird corner.
I, I, pardon me, I'm going to swear, but I hate that. Yuck.
I I don't mind it. It doesn't seem to matter much.
I'm sure it doesn't matter, but okay, like
It tells me which side isn't glue bound, which I guess is good.
okay, that's useful. That's useful.
So it's got that for it. And then Blank Slate Paper, who I
Oh
did
yeah.
stuff for a long time ago. Their paper is nice and fountain pen friendly, and you can make the ruling and such whatever you want. There are a zillion
Yeah.
options for that.
That's awesome.
Um,
Laura
they do
mentioned
they do two papers there. I forget which one this one is. They have this is the Dom Tar, which I think I like better. I think I like the Dom Tar 28 pound. And then they have another one. I forget what their other paper is. I'm sure I have at least one or two of these around.
David, I am totally with you on it makes me feel like I'm on Battlestar Galactica, which is fine
Yeah.
sometimes, but not most of the time.
Franklin Christoph does that too, I think. Yeah,
They do.
cut
They
off-
have the two top corners.
yeah, top and bottom corner. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the other thing that like just leave. You can round my corners. I'm fine with rounded corners, but please don't take
Yeah.
off my corners.
And then Nemosiny does these big notebook style things,
Yeah,
but they're
Nora was-
perforated, so you can
Yeah.
just tear them out.
She was mentioning the Baron Fig, like the big desk pad kind of thing.
Yeah, where is mine? Got one around here somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I was looking for mine too, and I couldn't find it. Instead, all I could find was the thing that people want me to talk about, but I haven't because we haven't finished it yet.
It's usually right. I cleared my desk for these things, so this is the small version of that, which is the mini mastermind.
Oh yeah,
So I don't.
yeah. And do you like their paper?
So the first mastermind I have, which is the desk pad thing, is the regular size, the bigger one, and that paper is actually really good.
Yeah.
But this little one, you can see it like bleeding through the back, and it.
Oh, from what I understand from Baron Fig, they had an earlier edition paper that
Yeah.
was not as fountain pen friendly, and they have now moved all of their products to the new paper, which is probably what was in the larger mastermind, which is more fountain pen friendly. So, and obviously there was a certain point at which they kind of just had to expire, just had to sell out of the previous paper before they could order more, because even Baron Fig, who we think is rolling in money, probably
Yeah.
needed to sell some so they could buy some more stuff.
Yeah, so I got the big one years before I got the small one though. So I think there must have been a transitional period in there where the small one was in the kind of the bad paper, and now they maybe have better stuff. I don't know. I think the Mastermind's fine. I like it better than the Pano book. It's got better paper than the Pano book. But
Yeah.
the thing that I like best for that kind of application is actually the Write Notepad's horizontal one.
Oh, I haven't tried that one.
It's looks like this. The landscape ruled notebook pads. These are great. I was just keeping track of class stuff in here, but I use both sides easily on this. It's really nice paper. It's pretty thick, but if you have your hand resting on it all the time, you will scuff a corner here and there. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I use fountain pen in it all the time, no problem. What does it say it is? That doesn't say what the weight is or anything like that. But yeah, these are really good. They're not cheap,
Cool.
but they're really good.
Yeah. So
And I've started using their weekly calendar layout for my sort of weekly to-dos.
So this just looks like my screen went blank, but what this is,
Is that a color desk?
yes, it's tentatively called the coloring folio. This particular size isn't quite right. We've rescaled the size just a little bit because this one is it's longer than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a tiny bit more square, but it's loosely based on the size of the original folios that were used in the Gutenberg Bible size, which was a folio.
Huh.
So that's where the name came from. The size happened to coincidentally be very close to that size. So we've kept trying to name our products after something that had to do with pens or paper or something, the oversized, the dipper. Well, I don't know. The dipper is kind of a silly name, but you know.
Those dippers are super cool. I'm a fan of them, and I have one like just right here. I really like those things.
Oh, thank you.
It is a
But
fun
yeah, so
little
this
product.
is something that we're working on. This is my test sample. You can see I've already gotten ink all over it and stuff. But right now we have it bound on one side. And I think I sent a couple out for people to test, and we just put at the time we just put the like board like the same kind of material that we use for the covers of the coloring on
Yeah.
the front and the back. And like Brad was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this thing. So we're actually going to do like a paper wrap like we did for the writing pads, so that you can fold it back and then cover your ginormous, if anyone is actually interested in a ginormous desk sized doodle pad
I
of
think that's
coloring
great.
paper.
I want one.
So Bob's like terrified of the idea. He's like, he just doesn't think it's a good idea and he thinks no one will buy it. And that usually means that it's a really good idea. Because he would like, nobody's going to buy those writing pads. And then we
Uh-huh.
couldn't like, we spent like one whole weekend doing nothing but filling orders. We filled an entire post office Gaylord. So those giant green bins that are in the back that are like the size of a small truck
Yeah,
orders.
I'm looking for the picture you posted about that. Uh, I don't see it. I must be on the wrong Ana account. But oh wait, here it is. Here's the other one. Nope, can't find it.
So
But
we'll stumble across it at some point. It's somewhere it's probably in the Well Appointed Desk stream on Instagram.
um, hmm, no, I'm not finding it. But I'm not looking super carefully either. Yeah, that was. You said you sent him back to the shop in a blizzard to make more.
Yes,
Like,
because
see,
we
I
like,
told you so.
well, because initially we were like, okay, well, like we had the bodies all bound and glued on one side. Um, and we had the covers separated and like we just needed to do all the assembly for them. And so he basically put together like 20 of them. He's like, that'll keep us for the weekend.
It did not.
No. Well, and honestly, we had no idea. We didn't know if we'd even sell one, but it was like a gamble that we had to take. And that's
Hmm.
the crazy thing about like all of the stuff that we do is like, there's always moments where we have made things and it's just like crickets. And we're like, okay, well, like we'll just see if somebody buys that. I thought it was a good idea.
I think that paper is really cool. I kind
Thank
of
you.
like I kind of want to use it more, but also I hoard it a little bit because there's no more. So
Well, that's not entirely true. So while we're looking for more to make more like A5 size desk pads, we do have, and as we always do, like we never throw paper away. We do have some smaller sheet size that we have plans to turn into notepads.
nice.
So they don't serve the same purpose for people as like the writing sheet, the sort of 5.5 by 8.5 size.
Yeah.
But we figured this is an opportunity for people who may have missed out on those or who might want some more of the paper to play with. They're just uh, like sort of the cut ends from the paper. So, this is how the dippers were born, is we had cut ends from the paper and we're like, Bob's like, can you do anything with this? And the first thing I did was he brought home these like little sheets and I'm like, it looks like it fit. Yeah, it fit right in there.
Punch a hole in them, Bob.
Punch a hole. Let's do this. So
Yeah, it's great. Sometimes I'll just throw those in with my letters or whatever, or if I just want to, I don't want to go to all the trouble of swatching something. I'll just dip it in there. Done. It's
yeah.
great.
What we discovered was that like we swatch in like the coloring or the Colodex every ink that comes through the door, right? So you do your samples, you do your bottles of ink.
Hmm.
But what I figured out was that I could take the dippers, and anytime I bought a bottle of ink, I could dip the dipper in the bottle and then just take a piece of string and tie it around the lip, like the top of the bottle.
Yeah.
And then now when you go to find the ink, the colors are all there. So just tied onto the side of the bottle or taped onto the bottle or whatever. So you no longer have to play the what exactly color is this or cross-reference between the bottle, because I don't know about you, but like looking at most of the bottles, like I can't tell one color from another.
Yeah, like that's a
Yeah.
great idea, and I'm totally gonna do it for these Papier Plume ones that don't have anything on the outside. I have a bunch of ink bottles or boxes of ink that just like maybe I've made a little tag for it or something, but put a little dipper on there is a great idea.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Or getting
And
taped on.
that's like I have probably 100 bottles of Birmingham ink, and they're
Yeah.
all in those lovely little glass bottles. But one, I can hardly read the lettering because it's so tiny on the
Yeah.
bottles. But two, all the bottles look the same.
Yep.
They all look the same.
Yeah, and the
So
boxes don't have anything on them at all. They're just a white box. So
yeah, I've had conversations with the guys at Birmingham about like, doesn't that cause problems for you? Because like if you're sorting an order and they're all white boxes, how do you know for sure? Like I would have to open every single box before I shipped it to make sure that like if someone
yeah,
ordered eggplant, it was really eggplant that was in there and not, you know.
and probably
But
multiple times too, because
yeah, yeah. Because if I move the pile,
yeah,
like
could be anything.
right, or did I put two eggplant and not one eggplant and one what's they have one that's like named after cabbage or lettuce or something.
I haven't kept up with the ones they've reintroduced so much. Have you gotten any of the new formulation ones?
Yeah, I did a whole review where I actually was able to compare the original color
Yeah,
to the new color, and there a lot of them are different. And one of the things that they had mentioned, I even got to do like a little interview with them uh and ask them like, are the colors different because you didn't like how they turned out originally and you wanted that adjustment, or is it um to do with some other, like it just didn't turn out quite the same way? And they kind of go into detail about the what is required for making ink, which I thought was really cool because it has been such a
yeah,
behind closed doors kind of thing. So it was nice that on the review they were actually willing to share a little bit of the behind the scenes. Because like I'm never gonna make my own ink. I'm always, if I ever had an ink color, I would hire someone to make it for me.
yeah. Right.
Arugula, that's what it is. Thanks, Beth.
Well done, Beth.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think if they redid arugula or not. The original version was a very nice color.
I don't think I ever got that one. I got a bunch of the original ones just kind of over time because they were very inexpensive. It's just
They still are.
they're yeah, they've gone up a few $2 or $3 a piece though, I think, haven't they? I don't know, it's
Um,
still pretty good. They're still like
yeah, they're still under $10, I
yeah,
think,
6 or 8 bucks, something like that.
yeah. And they offer a couple different size bottles.
Yeah.
So like I think sometimes when the higher price comes up, it's because they only have the like enormous size bottles left.
Right.
Um, and I think the price went up on their shimmer inks.
Oh yeah, the shimmer
So
inks are
they
definitely
do,
a bit more, but
yeah, they do have some shimmer inks that are more expensive.
yeah. Uh, yeah, so when they first came out with the new formulation, I sent them an email. I was like, "Hey, so I'm gonna have to get some of those, and so these are the ones I have, already. Can I get some? Like, which ones are closest?" And so they sent me a few, but they didn't send me any that I already had.
Oh
So
wow. They might not have had them formulated quite yet.
yeah, it's entirely possible. It's very early.
Yeah.
Mine tend to be
Because
a little
they
bit on the bleedy side, so I haven't used them as much as I like as the old
Oh
ones.
wow. I haven't had I'll play with them some more, but I didn't have a terrible time. There was like one or two that were a little more watery, little more like bleed prone
Yeah,
than the sort of original formulations. And it has to be a challenge to switch from essentially working with people like Diamine and Diatramentus to make your inks to making them yourself. And like, yeah, like that's a big
yeah.
switch. And, a whole different set of issues and problems and that kind of thing. Um, Greg was asking if they bled on the Colodex cards. I had a couple. I usually use dip pens when I do just sort of like my
Yeah,
ink
same.
samples on swatches. Um, and so some of them were a little. I wouldn't say they didn't bleed through, but like they would feather a little on the edge or just was. And sometimes that happens with my dip pens because they can dig into the paper and kind of,
Mm.
but not, I mean, like there were one or two. And if you pull up the review, I think Um, it's a little bit further back in the chat, the link to that Claire put up. Um, you can kind of see them side by side, and I'm pretty sure they
I
sent
know.
me a ton of
You're in the
them.
way, bud. So, yeah, we've had 2 cats come by now. They really think it's time for food. That's
Yeah,
quite the
that's how many
pile
they
of.
sent me.
Nice. I'm gonna have to read this whole interview. I don't think I read it.
Yeah.
No, those look fine.
So the ones that have the red, there's like a red pencil mark on them. Those are the new colors,
Yeah.
in case anyone has questions. I tried to write new formula on all of them, but I also, oh, the B is for bottle.
Oh yeah, yeah. New
Yeah,
formula
and new
here.
formula. Yeah.
Yeah, I have Winter Garden Snowflake in the original formulation, and that's one of like 2 that I didn't care for from them. The rest of them I loved, but those are like
Mhm.
a couple that I wasn't a huge fan of. What was the other one? There was some orange.
Oh,
I can't
that
remember the
wasn't
name.
the saltwater taffy, was it? Or there
No,
was
it was
was it the Einstein one?
yeah, Einstein. That's what it was. Yeah, I didn't. That one didn't do it for me. I just didn't care for the color that much. But I have a good friend who really loves that one, and so I'm gonna give that bottle to them. But yeah, this is a cool comparison.
Thank
Kia
you.
Refinery. I like the Kia Refinery in the original for sure. I haven't tried the new formula,
Yeah,
but
it's a little more green.
yeah, looks like it. A little darker too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. That's a great review. So everybody go check
Thanks.
that out for sure. Nice.
So that was one of those that like when I started it, I'm like, this is gonna take forever.
Uh huh. Yeah.
So it was a couple weeks in the making to kind of pull that one out. Look, Ollie has no head. Oops, I went the wrong way.
This is a
Just a
Mr.
tail.
Nose is here, sitting here
Hey,
licking
Mr.
my hand.
Nose.
He's
So sweet.
shed. You can see him shedding right now.
Yes. I think he's just thinking about it.
Uh huh.
It's like
Yep.
the Whomping Willow in Harry Potter when it just shakes off all the leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just like to come over here and just let me rub against your face and just get just white fur in my beard. I'm like, am I going gray? No, no, not yet. So did a review of them. Mike, they bled through the color. I don't remember them bleeding through the color. Nothing really bleeds through the Colodex cards, Greg, but might have gone. One of them might have gone through the Rhodia a little bit. At least on the
The only
swatch.
inks I've ever really had trouble bleeding through are some of the noodlers.
Yeah, I have some of the Russian series do weird stuff.
Oh yeah, I had one that just turned into goo. But
Well, the Russian series is basically like half of them smell like paint. Like you open the ink bottle and it just smells like latex paint or something. It's really weird. And then I have a few Krishnas that would never dry. Just like 2 weeks later they were still tacky, and so I just put a piece of tape over them and said, "Fine, that's the way you are now. I'm just never
yeah.
not going to use that because come
Yeah.
on."
Well, and I think I know with the Krishna inks, he was having trouble getting some of the pigments. Like the ink got so popular so fast
Mm,
that getting the volume of pigment that was needed became a problem because the creator of the Krishnas is actually a doctor full time. This was
yeah,
just his hobby and it was kind of fun. And he probably did it for his pen club and then it like blew up and he's like, oh my goodness. Um, but I know that there were a couple of the specific pigments that they couldn't even make because of like either drought or too much rain, whatever plant or whatever the pigment came from, like just didn't exist in India. So he was just like, I don't know if they had to find something else or
just discontinue that color. Call it a day. Be like that's collectors now, limited
yeah.
edition surprise. Yeah. So what is it you had behind you that you were going to show and we hadn't gotten to yet? I forget what that was even going to be.
I don't know. Well, we talked about pen cases, pencil cases. I showed the paper, like the A4 size.
Yep.
Um, Ollie,
Uh
say
huh.
hi, Ollie.
He's back.
Say hi to your friends. You're a good boy. I have another cat who's sitting over here. We have like a portable radiator because we live in an old house that's cold.
Yeah.
Um, and there's one in the kitchen and one in here, and one cat sleeps in front of each one all the time.
This cat is going to be on my desk. It turns out.
Oh, well, you
It's
got to
just how
do.
it's going to go.
Um, But that was really all. I mean, like, I kind of just looked at the messages that people were asking about. But if anybody has particular questions,
Yeah, somebody asked a question about like what you use to take notes in books. Do you take notes in books? Is that a thing you do?
um, I haven't done it a ton. The problem with taking notes with a fountain pen in books is that you never know what the paper quality in the book is going to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, obviously, like an older book or a paperback might behave totally different than a modern,
yeah,
um,
yeah. He
hardcover
asked if
novel.
like if you take. So he says he takes notes in books in pencil, which
A lot of people do that.
whew, that just seems like a smudge fest. I mean, I'm
A standard 2B would probably be fine, or like a standard number two pencil, an
yeah.
HB would probably be fine. And actually, like librarians and archivists would prefer that you take notes in books in pencil because, one, their pencil isn't totally archival,
Yeah.
so it will stay until you erase it. And two, if you put marks in a book that they don't want, someone can erase them. So,
Yep. Yeah, I
like
usually just
it,
use ballpoint. Tony says yeah, ballpoint too. I never use fountain pens to take notes in books. It's gonna be a losing proposition most of the time. Yeah, I usually
yeah.
just use a ballpoint. Sticky notes. Yeah, I use a ton of sticky notes in books. My
Hmm.
textbooks are just a forest of sticky notes for sure.
Yep. But I went to an archive at one point, and they handed you pencils when you walked in that were marked with the name of the library archive. It was a typography and lettering archive in at the San
Huh.
Francisco Public Library, and they'd sit you down with like those white boxes like you see people like pull out on those like
Like a banker's
history
box
shows.
situation.
Yeah, the like big, and you got to like go put the white gloves on and go through everything. And then if you wanted to take notes, they had pencils so that in case it rolled across the table and touched any of the documents or whatever, the marks could be removed.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never write in a book until fairly deep into college, I want to say. Probably it might have been junior year. And I had an English professor who said, "Yeah, if you're not writing in your book, you're doing it wrong." And like, look, what are you're gonna change the content of the book by writing in it? You're just gonna add things to it, if anything. You're not gonna damage it. It'll be totally
Yeah,
fine. It's your book. You write in it. It's in fact, if you don't write in your book, I'm gonna grade you down. Like he's gonna penalize you if you didn't. And
that's pretty
yeah,
funny.
ever since that, I got used to just writing in my books. It's why I like doing academic stuff on paper pages instead of digital stuff.
So
I'll
somebody
even
asked
print them out.
about Java ink. If I ever found any, who is that? Oh, David. I have not. I will definitely put that on my list to look for because we always like to find new ink.
Yeah, I don't know about Java inks. Tony underlines the crap out of his books. Good.
But
Generally,
not Beverly Cleary. We've established that.
that's right. I don't know if I would. Yeah, just like have some important passages in "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret," or
That was Judy Bloom.
oh, that's right. That was Judy Bloom. What was Beverly Cleary? She the How to Eat Fried Worms? Is that Beverly Cleary?
I don't know.
Now I'm gonna have
Wasn't
to
she
Google.
Ramona?
Yes,
Beverly
that's
Cleary
right.
was Ramona.
Yeah, I know them. I haven't read them since I was a kid. Oh yeah, Ribsy about with the dog. Ramona for sure. Uh, yeah.
Tony, how dare you?
These
Suggesting that Beverly Cleary and Judy Bloom are the same person.
have you seen them in a room together? Because I haven't.
Well, we know
I
one
think
of them
Judy
is
Bloom
dead.
is way younger.
Well, and she wrote Wifey, which was naughty. She wrote an a novel for adults that had adult content, and it came out, I think, like when I was young enough to be like horrified at the idea that Tales of the Fourth Grade Nothing was written by the same person who wrote Wifey.
Well, now I have to go read that, I guess.
It's
Yeah,
now it would not even probably be the least bit scandalous.
right. And then he saw her ankle.
For shame.
Yeah,
Clutch the pearls.
Beezus and Ramona, which is a book I 100% remember reading by Beverly Cleary, came out in 1955. I had no idea that they were that old. That's
Yeah, it's crazy.
wow. I mean, she was 104, so I guess that shouldn't be too shocking.
Points to her for pulling it out that long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Been to survival school and eaten fried worm omelets. I mean, you probably would forget it was worms at that point, right? Yep. Gina says Ramona Quimby. Exactly. Also, hey Gina, what's up?
Yeah, hey Gina.
Claire says in high school they were required to write in their books. That's wild. In my high school, if you wrote in your book, you were getting fined. That was.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because at that point in time, didn't you like return your textbooks
Yeah.
to the school?
Yeah.
And so yeah, you'd get in all kinds of trouble if you wrote in your books.
Oh yeah, that was the time
My
of like book covers, and yeah.
I never wanted the like fancy book covers. I always wanted to make mine out of paper bags so that I could like decorate them and read it. Like I probably spent way more time making cool covers for my books than actually reading my biology textbooks.
Mm-hmm. I was always envious of those people who could figure out how to make book covers out of like paper bags because they always looked cooler. Yeah. No, I had the lame, ratty, like they were like white and had some dumb graphic on them or something, and you'd like have to just color over them. Yeah.
Stickers on everything.
I don't remember if I had stickers. Like I don't remember. I don't remember if stickers were a thing.
By high school, surely. You had like skate stickers and
I wasn't cool. Let's not try to pretend I was cool enough to skate. No. No, everybody drew the cool S on everything. That was the cool S. Use paper bags for book covers and you doodle on the paper like crazy. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Lisa
Absolutely.
Frank Trapper Keepers. Yep,
heck yeah.
Yeah. You can still get Trapper Keepers, but they're not as cool as I remember them being.
No, and I think they've tried to revive them because Lisa Frank is still a business. And they've had their fair share of ups and downs, but they definitely have the potential to sort of like reemerge. Like the whole 80s kind of 80s vibe thing is really popular again. And
yeah, Claire says they bought all their books at high school. Wow. Yeah. Well, you were in high school a lot later than Anna and I were.
True. Trapper Keepers were never cool. Well, apparently neither were Mike or I.
No, I wasn't cool, but I did have a Trapper Keeper with like a Ferrari on it, which that was pretty cool. So I don't want to brag, but I had one of those. If they made a cool Trapper Keeper again, I would 100% get one just for funsies.
Oh, yeah.
Because now I've got Trapper Keeper money.
Here's the deal. They need a Trapper Keeper with your head on it. Oh,
no. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want that. If somebody else wanted to do that, fine. But I'm not going to walk around with that's a little too pretentious. Even, yeah, I don't know. Trapper Keeper with your own face on it. That's weird.
You know, on occasion, I've worn the enamel pin with my head on it, just for giggles. Mm-hmm. And at one point in time, I was standing in an elevator and someone like pointed and then pointed. And I'm like, yep. And they're like, well, that's cool. Like, okay, thanks. Yeah, but I think that'd be the same thing as the Trapper Keeper. Like,
that
I
don't remind me of that thing I was showing you earlier. And I wanted to show the people what I do with them. Here they are. So people have been asking for things with my face on them. And I feel a little bit weird about that. But Quadrupod on the internet decided to make a thing of my face. And
yes, please show those off. In the meantime, Artful Colorist says we should get one with Brad's head on it. No, nobody wants Brad's head on anything.
No. So
I like to rib him because he's such a celebrity. And
oh yeah, whenever we do, sometimes we'll do Mad Libs on here, and every time there's a name of a celebrity, it's always Brad the Pinhead Dowdy, or the famous Brad Dowdy. Yeah, he hates that, and so that brings me joy. So Quadrupod made these. He made a set of stencils, and then he was aerosolizing inks. And he told me, wait, is it on this note? Let me see. He wrote a note, which is, coincidentally perhaps, on the typewriter.
Oh, nice.
The vintage
I recognize that paper.
Yep. Let's see, did you say what these were? Nope, didn't say it on here. He wrote me an email. It had the names of all the inks he used in each one. So we have this one, which is the original. It's kind of a burnt sienna or a sepia sort of thing going on. And then he was like, tell me if you have some preferences for colors. I can do it again. I'm like, all right, cool. Go nuts, man. I don't care. Do whatever you want. You're the artist. And so he did one in blues, which I think came out really cool. That's pretty neat. And he signed the bottom, which is fun. So it's official art. It's been signed. And then, of course, you had to do an orange one. So this is like in shades of orange and red. It's turning out more red on the camera than it actually is in real life. It's more orange for real.
Yeah, that one looks really cool.
Yeah. And then this one is... Oh, this is definitely more orange. Maybe the other one is more reds. This one definitely skews more orange. I think it's funny there's like this really dark hole right here for my nose. Like all of them, it goes down real hard right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's pretty neat. And then I think this is the last one, which he called the Magic Mike version because it's done in shimmer ink.
Oh, cool.
Which is pretty sweet. So the reason I was excited about those is because while I'm a little bit, I don't know, sheepish maybe about making a thing with my actual, like a picture of my actual face on it. Like the stickers were a very silly idea, and I'm glad people enjoy them. But like I'm always like, I don't know, that's kind of, well, I don't know. I feel uncomfortable a little bit like selling those to people for money. But these are more like art sort of things. So
yeah, those are really cool.
People have been kind of bugging me to get like pin cases and that sort of thing with a mic face, and I think these might turn into that kind of thing. Turn that into a
I think
stamp.
that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, it could be cool on a stamp. Yeah, I might have to talk to Anna about this.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
Yep. Mic face Trapper Keeper. Oh man. Trapper Keeper money, lol. Look, I remember Trapper Keepers being like an expensive extravagance when I was a kid. We weren't like well off. So Trapper Keeper was like, you get a Trapper Keeper, you take care of that Trapper Keeper.
Absolutely, because you're only getting one. Like you're not getting one next semester or next year. This one's gonna last you all 3 years or whatever.
This will last as long as duct tape can keep it looking more or less like a Trapper Keeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like a rabbi? I don't know. Do you have any fountain pen friendly parchment looking paper for letters? Asked Nancy.
I will look into that. I don't have a lot of experience with sort of parchment style paper, but we definitely have sources for that kind of thing. So we can look into it and see if we can find something. The nice thing about having a husband who is a printer is that we have access to both all these paper samples and paper books so that we can look for things like that. And then also the capacity to actually buy the paper wholesale and cut it to whatever size people want. So while we can't make it like super fancy, we can certainly chop cut 1,000 different ways and shrink wrap it up all nice for you and that kind of thing. So
Nancy, when you say parchment paper, do you mean like the parchment paper you cook on, or like a parchment? Because those are, because like onion skin kind of looks like parchment paper.
Yeah, and there's parchment paper that have that sort of, it looks sort of aged and has a bit of a pattern to it. Yeah. And I just haven't really looked into like what is real parchment? That's the stuff that's made out of like
reeds,
animal bladders and stuff like that.
Human skin, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like it seems a little complicated, but they've made some that sort of have that look.
Not
that has a sort of watermark,
like old-fashioned paper. So you like Gilalo makes some stuff that's like very old-fashioned-y.
Yeah.
Sort of paper.
And is it the not Crane? I'm sure Crane has some parchment style paper.
Crane's got a little bit of everything, I think. See, I've got a couple varieties of Gilalo over here. Let me grab some. It's my stack of big papers here.
ELH93 says papyrus paper is made out of reeds, but Tomoe River is made out of bamboo. So
Tomoe River's bamboo, huh? I never did.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't know that it's 100% bamboo, but I do know that it has bamboo content.
So this is Gilalo Toile Imperial, and it definitely has a texture to it, and it's fairly thick. It's a little bit on the. I don't know if it's kind of old.
That looks like what we refer to as a laid finish.
Yeah, it's definitely
Laid.
Yeah.
Laid finish usually has a watermark. So you'll usually see parallel lines and then really fine sort of textural lines horizontally.
Yeah, let's see if I can make those show up on this camera. Let's put a little light behind it, see if that helps. Nope, not even a little bit. But yeah, there's definitely a laid texture going on here. Let's see if I can get it on my main camera.
Oh, Nancy's saying that's not a laid finish, or she's not looking for a laid finish.
Yeah, okay. And I've got the Velen Pour Cotton, which feels more old timey to me. It's got a little bit of a texture to it, but it's not
Hmm.
laid. It's just kind of
Yeah.
not
She's
a
looking for
texture.
more of the like tonal color difference.
Oh,
Um,
that.
uh,
I don't have any of that works with fountain pens.
let me.
I have
I
some of
know that,
those somewhere, but they're super
yeah,
absorbent and just don't.
I know that French paper makes a parch tone. That's what their line is called. It's called Parch Tone,
Well,
and they make a ton of different colors. I have not tested it, but I have samples here, so I can test them and get back to you, let you know how it performs. I don't even think I've cracked open like we had them send us samples of all their different papers, and I don't think I even cracked open the
several different parch
Parch
tones.
Tone. Yeah, because so the bright color ones that like they use for the covers of field notes and stuff is called Pop Tone, and then they have a speckle tone, which the name sort of speaks for itself,
That
and
sounds
then
cool.
parch tone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Half Korean Genie says, I post this all the time, but Mike is the reason I found you, and I order from you way too often.
oh,
Well,
thank
there you go.
you. And I'm sorry that, we've put a hole in your bank account.
Sometimes you just need a little bit of retail therapy.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, all things considered, my products are way cheaper than buying new pens for most people. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it
you
depends on
know,
what you're getting, I guess, but
yeah.
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 It
Most of the
is.
time, we don't have orders over $100. It's kind of rare. So, say that about a fountain pen order.
Uh-huh.
I dare ya.
Yeah. I ordered from Yoseka like last week. It hasn't gotten here yet, but it fell into the black hole that is New Jersey. Um,
Ugh.
but I dithered around long enough that the fountain pen from that order was out of stock, and so that dropped it below $100.
Just barely.
Well, now it's around 60 at the end of the day, but
Oh yeah, that's a sizable order.
yeah. I mean, that's just random stuff. That's papers and weird, Japanese ballpoints and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, I do have one pen I want to show off, and then we got to let Anna go because I asked her for an hour, and it's been an hour and 45. It turns out.
Oh, good grief. I'm sorry that I kept everybody so long.
No,
Bob just came home, so.
I think Audrey might have gotten home just now. I heard Scraggles wake up. So, no, I get this. We like hyper focus on here and just like forget about time. Audrey usually is the one that's like, "Hey, we got to go because I'm starving." So,
Oh, here comes Scraggles.
hey, Scraggs, what's up? Oh, there she is. There's a nose.
Yeah.
So a friend of ours bought this pen secondhand, but it is pretty amazing, and he sent it my way first because he's like, well, I can wait. I'd like to have you do a little review on it, so I'm gonna. And so this showed up today. This is a Namiki Daruma. Here's the name of the thing. And it is at least Maki and probably Arushi. I have really not done any research on this pen. You can see it has all these little Daruma dolls.
Oh, they're
Michead.
so cool. And I didn't see the sparkle when you showed it to me earlier.
Yeah, there's definitely some Rodden sparkles in there at the bottom and a little bit on the top. There's a few throughout the body, but mostly the bottom and top. Right there. Look at all these little ones, and each color means a different thing, and it has a different has a little description of what the colors are for. Different types of luck. So we have yellow, blue, red, green. Yep, yellow, blue, red, and green. Oh, is that a black one? There's a black one sneaking in the bottom
Oh,
here.
wow. So I'm wondering if like, one of the colors is like luck in love, luck in money, luck in
Yeah.
business.
So we've got, well, it's not going to show there. We got yellow for monetary fortune and fame, blue for success, independence, and promotion, red for family, safety, victory, and good luck, green for health, unlocking one's true potential, and increasing athletic potential. Sick. And black is protection against bad luck and natural disasters, plus economic surplus. So black is a good one. Like you want to have that protection from
Absolutely.
disasters, plus also money.
Greg asks, is it a pilot or a Namiki nib?
Let's see. It is. This is it's a Namiki nib.
Nice.
Yeah, it's real pretty. Yep. So that's that. It also has a little piece of, it felt different when I was capping it. I got this right before I got online here with Ana, but it felt different when I was capping it, and it turns out there's a little piece of felt just inside the rim here that only goes up about this far to keep it from marring the lacquer when you open and close it a million times.
It's amazing.
Yeah, pretty darn cool. So that's yeah, that'll be coming up on the blog relatively soon because I'm not going to keep his pen for very long. Partly because I don't want to be responsible for it for that long. So,
I understand.
but yeah, that is not a cheap pen. Those are I think the retail on that was like $1,700. I don't know what he paid for it. It was at least secondhand, but it has a little satin thing. Yeah, it does. A little drooling here. The pen is amazing. It is pretty darn cool. Pen has you covered. Yeah, it's got all the things. If you need some luck in anything, it's got it on there for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a Rushi. It's almost certainly got to be.
Yeah.
Why isn't it silk from virgin silkworms? Look, I'm not going to ask those silkworms personal questions. Nice touch. The felt totally is. I accidentally scratched some of the felt out of your Pilot Mach-E, which has the same base pen. Yeah, this pen is actually on the heavy side. I thought it was going to be lighter than it is, but definitely on the list. Yeah, Gina, you'd like it for sure. PB,
yeah,
hey,
absolutely.
PB, what's up? So yeah, that's in that. I have that for safekeeping for now, but I wanted to show that off. So we probably ought to let Ana go here, but thank you so much for joining us today. It was great fun.
Thank you. This was really fun. Tell Audrey I said hello. Thanks everybody for sticking around. I realize I'm not Audrey. I hope you guys weren't too disappointed.
They'll be okay. Audrey will be back. Thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out with us for this afternoon. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad y'all were able to come and hang out with Ana because
Thank you.
I don't have guests all that often, and it's super fun to do.
Absolutely. Oh, Greg suggests just me and Audrey next time, and
yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah,
that would be.
I'll just work the camera or whatever. Audrey did that one time. She's done the live stream one time while I was sick, and there's a lot of doodads and things over here to make everything work. So that's that'd be fun.
Cool.
So
thanks everybody.
Yeah, so think about what y'all put out in the world, make it a better place, and say goodbye, Ana.
Goodbye, Ana.
Ended. All right.